Hey there, it's Leanna Weller-Smith from Weller-Smith Design and design expert for Hotstock. In this video, we are going to talk about how to color your brand with confidence. Color is a huge topic, and there are so many tutorials out there that cover the psychology of color, the technical aspects of choosing colors according to the color wheel. There's terminology involved, but we're going to approach it a little bit differently, and I hope that this is fun and easy and will help give you the confidence to get started no matter what level of designer you are. Before we start digging into the fun color stuff, we need to do a little bit of prep work first. To start, I want you to do a deep dive. And what does this deep dive mean? Well, what do you really want your brand to say about you? We're going to start with finding some words and overall phrases that will help you to think about your brand in a different way. Start to ask your questions. What do you really want to be known for? How do you want others to see you and your brand? What should come to mind when someone comes across your brand organically? And try to describe your brand in 5 or 6 words. Now, we start with words because words can help provide insight into what we actually search for when it comes to finding colors and typefaces and textures and things that can help to really form your brand palette. Now, do you need help finding words or phrases? There's tons of things that you can look for online. There's word clouds, there's different lists of brand building words. Here's just some fun, hip, chic, appealing, bold, honorable, adorable, calm, caring, capable. These are just ideas of words that you want to resonate with your brand. If you need a little cheat sheet, we put one together for you. You can download it, and it has a beginning list of words that can help you to formulate different feelings that you want to be associated with your brand. From your research, you should pick 3 to 5 words that really resonate with you and that you absolutely love, and these are the words that you are going to start with. My words for this sample are sophisticated, powerful, and elevated. Next up comes research. Research, research. This is a huge step, and I believe in research for every single type of design project that I work on. It is a must-have step, and it's one that you just cannot skip. There's so many different places that you can go to look for different bits of creative inspiration. Of course, Pinterest is one of my favorites. And what I did is I took some of the words that I found or adjectives or things that I was interested in, and I did searches. And you can see just from these screen captures the difference in color, photography, texture, pattern that shows up that relates to each topic just from searching for words. So there's feminine. You can see the soft palettes here. This vibrant palette is amazing. It's so colorful. Modern, powerful, romantic, and bold. Just by doing these searches through words and Pinterest and any of your favorite online search tools that you can search through different visuals, you're going to find a bunch of different items that can inspire you just to get started on your next project. Next, we have the 4 steps to build your perfect color palette. This is the fun part, mixing and matching colors. For some, this might seem like the most daunting part. However, if you follow these 4 steps, you will be well on your way to your perfect brand color palette. Step 1 is to narrow down the images that you collected in your research. Pick about 5 or 6 of your favorites and take them into your preferred design program. This could be Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, Canva, or any other online tool. If you're selecting colors from a program that does not come with a color picker, Be sure to install a color picker for your browser so you can still pinpoint colors and pull their color value or hex code. These are the images that I selected from my inspiration research. You can see that the colors are very sophisticated, and they have some deep tones along with some tints and some lighter color values in here. Now, taking you back, if you'll remember, my words were sophisticated, powerful, and elegant. And I think these images best represent that from all of those that I collected. Step 2 is to start using the color picker. Take these photos into your favorite design program, as we mentioned earlier, and now we're going to start selecting colors from them. So these are my images, and I started to use my picker to select some of my favorites in here. And you see a pattern, there's a lot of darks, so I definitely want a dark tone. There's some lighter colors in there, and there's some really deep, bright poppy colors that I really love. So I went for the orange. That was one of my colors. I like this almost like a charcoal gray, the gray blue that's from the couch. And I went with this like fuchsia color that's not only in the flower, but it's in the pillows. I love this green. This is why I pinned it to begin with. And then I picked a few lighter values just to kind of round things out from the more sophisticated palette. I did not select these exact colors initially. I did a lot of different testing. I had probably 20 different colors. I picked this color in here. I picked this color in here. I had a yellow in my pattern, or in my palette. I had a purple. And so I started with a lot of colors. This is where I ended up, but you will start with a lot of colors as well. So don't worry about how many colors you initially pick. Just find the ones that you like and resonate with those words that you picked earlier. Now it's time to organize them and finalize them. So as I mentioned, I started with probably 20 different colors, and I did a lot of moving around and mixing and matching to see which ones I really liked together. And this here is my final selection, and this is how I came up with it. And I think this is the key to making color picking a little bit easier for the DIY beginner, and it's just to look at them in terms of the way that you're actually going to end up using these colors. So you found these colors that you really like, but now some of them just aren't going to work for the actual design that you're going to need them for. So I always start with the base or brand colors. Now you might already have a brand and have a couple of image colors that you use all the time. So those should definitely be in your color palette. However, if you don't have a brand already started, you're going to want to come up with some base colors that will sort of ground everything out. The next set of colors you're going to want are some action colors. You want something that's a little bit poppy, that's going to stand out and make your users either want to click on a button, a link, or read that title. So something that goes within your palette of the colors that you've selected that are a little bit brighter and have a little bit more energy to them. Then lastly, you're going to want some grounding colors, and these colors are generally lighter. They are softer in color and tone, and they can help to round out your design, and so that you don't have all of these overpowering colors going through every single bit of your layout. So when you finalize your colors, you'll see some sort of cohesiveness now. As I mentioned, I had a purple, I had all these other colors in my palette, but they just didn't fit. So once you narrow them down, you can see across the board that everything has a place in your palette now. So now that you have your colors in place, it's time to have some fun and put it to work. Now you're going to want to grab your brand photos, your brand fonts, your messaging, and you're going to want to start to put everything together. Don't feel like you have to use all the colors that you've selected, but definitely be creative. Use color blocks, use color type, pull in some textures that maybe have the same colors that you're using. You don't have to use the solid color. It can be photos that have those colors in them, and you can just get creative with the way that you're using the actual color palette that you've put in place. Just as a reminder, the words that I used for my brand color palette were sophisticated, powerful, and elevated. And I think that by pairing those colors, they have a very strong presence to them with this beauty brand. It's kind of a surprising combination, yet I feel as though it works really well. This could be an advertisement, this could be a web page, this could be a shop header, and what it does is the colors really do drive your eye to go to the different items that you want to call out. There's spaces that can breathe. You have this great typeface that we're using in that charcoal, and then you also have your other lighter colors that just sort of round everything out. Now, when you're choosing your photos, you can definitely find images styled stock that are using some of your brand colors. And if they aren't using your colors, you can get creative with color overlays and gradients and things like that using the color palette that you've put together. So where do you go from here? Now it's time to dig in and start to experiment with your own color palettes and see what you can come up with. To start, I went back and made a few color palettes that could inspire you for your next project. So I have vintage hipster colors, feminine colors, which I need to say, feminine can be so many different things. This is a very general feminine color palette. However, you could go monotone with all pinks or blues or purples, or you can mix and match it. But these are some core feminine colors that could easily be used in a feminine brand. Modern, classic, and bold. To get you started with your own color palette, we have a downloadable for you that you can actually upload into your favorite editing tool, and you can fill in the boxes with your colors. So as we mentioned, you could end up with 20 colors. So now you'll be able to fill in the boxes and mix and match them and see how your color palette can come together. And in addition to that, we also created a sort of cheat sheet for all of the colors that you just saw for vintage hipster, feminine, modern, classic, and bold. They all come with hex codes, and you could take them into your favorite editing tool if you need CMYK or RGB values. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I know it's not your typical color presentation, but I hope that it actually gave you some great tips and guidelines on how to start choosing color and to have some confidence with the next project that you start. As always, please tag us at Hotstock or #Hotstock and share with us the color palettes that you have. If you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. And until next time, have a colorful day.